Hello, everyone. Jerry, give him a wave. Let's
Hey,
make
what's
sure
up?
you're
How you
all
doing?
right. Okay, so we're going to give it a few more minutes, but if you're just joining, my name is Jessica Payne. Welcome to Jessica Payne Live. I have a very special guest today, Jerry Morales. Say hello.
Jerry Morales here.
He's amazing realtor, mentor, extraordinaire, Angelino, fan of the East Side where I live with roots here. And just an all-around amazing, inspiring entrepreneur. So if you are joining in, have a seat, grab a coffee. Jerry knows, but if this is your first time tuning in, I like to say it's professional but cash, hence the big hair and the tank top. So today, like every format, we're going to talk a little bit about business. We're going to talk a little bit about brand. Jerry brings a ton of experience with him, so I'm really going to give you the floor in a minute, Jerry, after maybe I do an official introduction. If you're just tuning into Jessica Payne Live, we talk about business brand. My focus is about authenticity. I always say focus on being real, not perfect. Hello to my followers all over the globe. I've got them here in the US and around the world. And I think, Jerry, what you bring today is going to be really interesting insight because while we are based here in Los Angeles, it is a global city. You are the spitting image of entrepreneurial spirit and success in a highly competitive marketplace. So I think, but without further ado, Jerry, can I go ahead and introduce you? And I think if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great. Jerry is a realtor with Keller Williams, entrepreneur. You've got so much talent in different areas. It was so nice to read about it. You are a mentor as well, and it looks like you've got a background in finance writing. So I can't wait to kind of dig into how all of this really helps set you apart. But for the purpose of our followers here, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, right on. First and foremost, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. So actually, I come from Inglewood, California, and I ventured off to Humboldt State University where I got have a degree in English creative writing.
Right.
And that really helped with all of my endeavors that I do right now. It really helped build the business in terms of when I pursued finance writing. I was a freelance writer the last year of college, and so that's where I acquired a lot of experience in terms of writing. And so I got a job working in downtown LA as a finance writer, and I've been featured in Huffington Post, Business Insider, Credit.com. And actually, right before that, I was a writer for a newspaper in Inglewood called the Morningside Park Chronicle. It's no longer around, but I was promoted to lead writer for that publication. So it was really nice to come back and use my degree and, write about the city that I grew up in and highlight, some of the shops or people who are doing some righteous things in the area. And so I got into real estate. Actually, right after college, I started, studying for real estate. I wanted a second degree. And I think that's very important in today's world to kind of look at something else you can do, not necessarily as a backup, but something you can do in addition to what you want to do in life. So I weighed out the options between real estate programming and web design, and I decided I'm more of a people person. I want to pursue real estate, and that there was no ceiling, so that's why I pursued real estate. Wound up making that transition from finance writing to real estate when I saw the potential that I had and that I could develop myself to become once the success would come in real estate. So I decided, what? One day I just got out of my desk, and the company I worked for, I don't want to bash them, but they weren't valuing me properly, right? I was paid a minimum wage in LA, and getting all these credits, but I wasn't really getting anywhere. And with student loans, we all know the student loan, problem going on right now. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and pursue real estate full time, and I have not looked back. And I'm very fortunate that I took that risk, which was years ago. And so now, I've developed my career, and what's helped me a lot actually is all the writing I've done, because the communication's there. I can write good descriptions of properties, but not only that, email, text, even verbal communication, explaining contracts to my clients, going back and forth between my clients and other realtors, and really breaking things down and piecing it all together. So that's what's really helped me develop my career, is, the base of English and communication, right? So, being fluid when it comes to completing a transaction, and just my personality in general, just being more of a chill guy and being honest. And I think that's very important when it comes to building any brand is authenticity,
Right.
being who you are. You know, another reason why I got into real estate at such a younger age as opposed to older is because I decided I didn't want to have that looming feeling of, oh my God, I got to pay a mortgage. I have to support a family. I have to do this and that. You know, I wanted to come into it, you know, wholesome and pure and build a career from the start. And now I'm at a point in my career where the money doesn't really impact me. The monetary gain doesn't impact me. It's more of the lifestyle, right? I like to the clients I work for. It's like, it's really, I formed this whole lifestyle around my life. So, you know, they say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I genuinely love real estate and love helping people. So from my perspective, with my lens, you know, my job description is to, you know, make friends and help them. And that's literally what I do every day. I make friends and I help them. You know, and helping them means, you know, their lifestyle when it comes to buying and selling property. So, you know, I really kind of go with that lens on and switch gears in my head. And it shows in all the actions I do because I'm really trying to figure out what this person what their goal is and how to achieve that goal. Yeah. You know, so that's what really kind of helps me get to that next level is authenticity.
Let's talk a little bit about authenticity because you speak to it so well, and I think one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs and businesses, I think everyone knows the word because coaches like me and strategists like me are telling clients to be authentic. But can you walk us through what that means and maybe what that means for you? Like, I think authenticity is one of those words that's been repeated so many times it's maybe lost meaning. So how can you like if you were sitting across from an entrepreneur right now, maybe they're considering trying to grow their business, maybe they're facing some challenges, they feel they're not authentic. Can you give them, what advice would you give them in terms of being authentic?
I think the key word is care. You really have to care. You have to care about yourself. You have to care about whatever it is you're trying to put out there. So for myself in particular, if it's, you know, I have to really care about a client and reaching their goal. And not look at, like I said earlier, the monetary gain, the financial gain, right? Not looking at the money. A lot of people defeat themselves in their head by thinking they're authentic, but in reality, they really just want, you know, quick cash, quick buck. What I've learned in life is there really is no quick, easy way, you know, to get a lot of money. So if you're looking for like a quick, you know, buck, then you're really not going to get anywhere. And it's going to really show because you're always going to short sell yourself and you're always going to look for that quick way to accomplish whatever goal that you're trying to achieve. Whereas if you're authentic, then you're really going to really problem solve and figure things out and do it the right way, even if it takes a little bit longer, but it's going to show and that's going to transfer over when it comes to, you know, for me in particular, you know, trying to attract a client to do business with me and trust me to help them buy or sell property, and it could transfer over to somebody else, maybe selling a product, maybe selling a service. So if somebody's trying to sell, you know, a mass service of I'm a coach, here, you know, subscribe to me for $100 a month, yada, 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 but there's really no authenticity with it, then it's probably not going to, you know, have as much success as somebody who, you know, would charge even probably more, but who's put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. It's so, especially in this economy, I think and I've battled with this too as my business has evolved, sort of. And I think a lot of business owners, especially entrepreneurs, maybe where we are our product and we are running the business at the same time, you can't ignore the financial needs of simply running a business. It's really interesting. So yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. So if you're tuning in and kind of struggling with that piece, think about what Jerry said, because I think just being honest with yourself and maybe just doing a little check-in, it's scary because, you know, I think some of us know when we're kind of leaning more toward the financial gain versus authentic. It's quicker, it's easier perhaps, but it sounds like you're saying in the longer, you know, the longevity of your business, the longevity of your success, it's going to come back to you if you focus on and I love that word, care. I've never heard it set in that context before. So if you need to redefine authenticity, it sounds like, Jerry, think about the word caring and caring about your clients' success versus your own financial.
Yeah, all of the above. Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, you're talking about branding. I think, you know, in today's world, we're really making that shift from, you know, with the media age, where it's very important to brand yourself and to have the authenticity to go back to that. But there's also ways to where, you can monetize your brand. So one of the things I want to start doing in the near future is, because I have mentees under me, I'm a mentor in my office, I want to create a coaching brand in real estate. But what that means for me, like when I sit down with my mentees, I really break things down for them and I ask them, how much do you need to make? I need to know, because I need to know if it's realistic, and I need to know, what it is you plan on doing with, the money that you make. Are you taking care of a family? What's going on? Do you want to travel? You want to balance it out? So we talk about all those things. And it makes me really care about them, and it pushes me to really, hold myself accountable to a higher degree, right? And to be a good example for them, and to really just, you have to care, like I said, at the end of the day. And, I feel responsible for, their introduction to the business, because from my perspective, if they fail, that means I failed, right? And that's tough to grasp, and it's tough, but it's something that I don't mind, putting on my shoulders and taking on, because, I have something good going on here, and I feel like, I can really add value to their lives. So, it's really nice to have that trust from them, especially being so young. Some of these people that I'm mentoring are old enough to be my parents, but they see value in the fact that, hey, I've gone through the trenches and I have something good to add to them.
I love that. Can we talk a little bit about your mentoring? Because I know it's a key part of who you are, and I think it really is what probably separates you from a lot of folks in your field. My next follow-up question, and maybe you can answer it together, is like, what is your secret? Because I know a lot of people want to know, what is your secret to standing out in such a competitive landscape? I was telling you before we jumped on, I roll deep in a lot of realtors here in Los Angeles. I'm a huge fan of Keller Williams and realtors. I think there's something about your personality and the who you are as like attracts like, and that's why I'm so proud to know you, Jerry. It's because you literally are like what you say on the tin. Like, you exude the qualities that you do. And I know mentorship is right in the middle of not just your company culture, but who you are. Can you talk about what mentorship means to you, and maybe is that one of your secrets to standing out in a competitive landscape? How does it all kind of work together?
Yeah, so let's go back a little bit, and this will all connect. So actually, the first job I ever had was, I was a tutor in high school. And so starting in end of ninth grade, 10th grade, I became a tutor. And so that helped me develop skills and abilities that I've always transferred for the rest of my life. And so it's interesting coming back, to, in a sense, tutoring or mentoring or helping and assisting people when they pursue this career, because I have that skill set of teaching somebody, how to learn something, right? And so being a mentor is pretty new to me. It just happened this year. And so I capped in real estate. What that means is every fiscal year, so my fiscal year resets every May. I produced enough for my company to where from now until May of next year, I get 100% commission. So I capped last year, and after I capped, my new team leader in the office sat down with me, talked to me for a little while, asked me my ambition and my goals. I expressed, what I want to do to him. And then shortly after, he gave me a call and asked me if I'd be interested in being a mentor, because I had capped and he thinks that people can learn something from me. And so I said, sure, why not? Let's try it out. Let's see how it goes, see if it takes up a lot of my time, or, I want to see if it's a waste of my time. And actually, I enjoyed it because it helped elevate myself. It helped hold myself more accountable, because now I can't only talk the talk. I have to walk the walk even more. Right. So
no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. With that being said, it's, and it's helped develop my career. So with the KW culture, what I really like around here is the camaraderie, and so when I first got into real estate, I interviewed 5 different offices, even other Keller Williams offices, but I chose Marina Del Rey for a reason, and that's because of the camaraderie around here. The only office that really offered me to come to a team meeting, meet with the team leader after, and then the team leader after that introduced me to every single agent that was in the office one by one. And she says, one of these people would be your mentor. I just want you to learn. And then she gave me a free book, the Red Book, the $1 million book for real estate, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And so I really like that a lot. And she says, I don't care where you go after this, take this book and it'll help you succeed. And so that, was my impression of Keller Williams here in Marina Del Rey. And so I feel like that kind of culture and atmosphere really helped develop who I am, right? Because I was attracted to that. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted. And so it's really helped me kind of exude, like you said, exude that even more just by being around these people and interacting with everybody in the office.
Yeah, I love that. And I am not surprised at all knowing, I counted on my hands. I think I know no fewer than 6 or 7 Keller Williams realtors. And that does not shock me at all, how warm and welcoming your experience is at that office. It's like, it's so beautiful to see that translate. It seems like every person I know, as soon as I hear they're in real estate, I almost know immediately if they're Keller Williams, because you all have that warmth. I just want to give a shout out to Peter. Thank you so much for your comment. Peter, I'm going to show him again. He said, thanks for having Jerry on. This is great. I love to see that. I love to see the support. And, it's all about us supporting each other, right?
Yeah.
So, Peter, if it's us supporting you, if it's reciprocity, right, is the word. So, but thank you for that. I want to make sure that you saw that, Jerry, for getting a shout out. Gosh, there's so much we can talk about. I think let's take a step back, because I do have followers from around the world, not just here in Los Angeles. And I think most people can understand how the advice you're giving certainly transcends outside of Los Angeles, certainly transcends outside of being a realtor or a mentor. So, but if you do have questions, let me know. I think one of the universal questions I get a lot, and this might put you on the spot, is what is your secret to closing a deal? So, answer that however you would like. You can answer it in specifics of someone buying a house, or speak to it purely from a business or an entrepreneurial standpoint. But I get that question a ton, and I think you could give us a really interesting point of view.
Yeah.
So what's your secret?
It's having, closing a deal can mean a variety of things. So it could be closing a deal in terms of closing that listing, meaning I get to sell that house, or actually closing the deal, meaning I sold that house, right? So
Right.
from my perspective, closing the deal is from actually selling that house and getting a paycheck, right? Let's get to it. How do we make money?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's all about, getting out there and hustling as much as you can, and you're going to face hardships. That's natural. I don't care, what endeavor you pursue, what business path you pursue, but what you need to do is, and what I've done, and what I'm still trying to do at a bigger and more massive level is, really have the clientele. So if you are shooting for 1, 2, 3, 4 clients, double, triple it. Because guess what? Some of those clients are going to fall through the cracks. Some of those clients are just they're not going to sell. They're not going to buy your brand. They're not going to buy your product, whatever it is. They're not going to invest. All right. So the 10X Rule is a great book by Grant Cardone. I actually just read that last month, and it's really changed my whole perspective on everything. And to get to the close is, one thing my mentor told me was get to the truth, right? What does that mean, get to the truth? Getting to the truth means finding out the person's intent. What makes them tick? Why are we here having this conversation? What do you really need to do? Why do you need to sell your house? Do you need to sell your house because you're going to upgrade and buy a bigger house for your family? Or do you need to sell your house because you need the money? Or you need to sell the house because you're relocating? Whatever it is, get to the truth. That's the bread and butter of my business, is getting to the truth right away. So a lot of people, a lot of agents, when they cold call, they're all like, hey, did you know the market's like this? And da 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 da. And I'm just like, hey, my name's Jerry. I'm a realtor in your area. I'm just checking in, seeing if you or anybody you know could use my help to buy or sell any property. Have you thought about it recently, or has anybody, in your family, have any of your family or friends expressed interest in buying or selling property? I just get to it. I don't want to bug people longer than they need to be bugged. I get hung up on a lot. I get, effed out a lot, cussed out a lot. I get a lot of pleasant conversations. I have sidebar 5-minute great conversations with people, all over LA, and it's interesting. Like every day is new, and I'm always going to talk to somebody I just don't know. And I think that's what interests me a little bit about this business is that, yeah, there's that monetary gain, and I get to, there's no ceiling. I can make X amount of money and keep growing from there. But what's also interesting is, for a short period of time, I get to interact with somebody in their life, whether it's, a client, I'm showing them homes. One of my clients, I've seen his daughter grow from an infant baby to where she's walking now, and I'm like, what? This is crazy. It's awesome. I've been with them in their journey. I'll call somebody and I'll talk to them for 5, 10 minutes, and depending on the person, if I don't feel like they're wasting my time, I don't mind doing that. So when it comes to closing the deal, it's really about just, really working hard to get that clientele or that following.
Mm.
And from there, getting to the truth. So why is somebody going to buy your brand over somebody else's brand, or your
Right.
service over somebody else's? Why would they choose you? Because the thing is, what do they benefit from choosing you, right? So what does somebody benefit from choosing me? Is at the end of the day, I'm going to be 100% blunt and honest with you. I'm going to tell you things you probably don't want to hear, but that you need to hear. So I'm going to tell you, you're overpricing your house. And if you don't want to list it lower, I'm not going to waste my time with you, right? Or you're looking at homes that are out of your price point. So if that's where we're at, I'm not going to show you homes because we're both wasting time. I'm trying to help you. I've had clients who have chosen not to work with me because I tell them the truth about you're priced out. You need to look at a lower price point, and they get frustrated, and that's fine. I'm giving them reality, and some come back and they realize, hey, you're right. Some don't.
You're right.
So it's about saving my time too. Remember that. So I would, for anybody looking to pursue any business endeavor, make sure you're saving your time and working with people who actually, have a sense of are in line with reality and who want to work with you.
That's such good advice. I've learned that through my own experience too, I think. And especially I think any young businesses tuning in right now can really learn a lot from you, Jerry. It's sort of, at first we sort of do anything to get any business. And I think perhaps that's fine. And then I suppose with your advice, it's getting that discipline is realizing, and typically like for me early on when I was running my business, there's that one client where that's the lesson where you overextended yourself, or maybe you knew right from the get-go that it wasn't a match, but for whatever reason, whatever motivation, maybe going back to the financial, what you said before, for whatever reason. And I think every business should go through this. It's the lesson. And then when you get through that experience, you say never again. Mm-hmm. For me, that helped me realize the value of time. But yeah, so any young business out there that if you want to take away one piece of advice, I honestly think that's a huge one, is you're saying value your time, right? Yep. And I love how you're just blunt and honest. I feel like, isn't that what most customers want versus going back to that authenticity piece, sort of like data shows today's consumer knows they're being marketed to and advertised to. I feel like right now, and this is the feedback I'm getting, they just want to be, it doesn't even have to be perfect. It just be honest, right? And even if that means the ugly truth, it sounds like you're having real conversations people might not want to have with you, but you're showing value, right? Even if it's telling them they're way out of their price point. Sounds like.
Exactly. And I have like one service where I subscribe to leads, and I get a text notification when I get the lead on my phone, and then so sometimes I'll call them right away, and I get people answering like, "That was weird. You answered so quick," and I tell them the truth. Well, I subscribe to a service. They provide me leads, and they set it up to where I can get text notifications on my phone. And if I'm available, I'll just go ahead and call right away. And they go, "Oh, okay. Well, anyway, this is what I want," and it's just blunt. I don't trick them, deceive them, or anything. I just tell people, what's going on. I get a lot of numbers from people, and then some people ask me, "How'd you get my number?" I said, "Well, I subscribe to a database that provides me public numbers to people in your area, and I'm just calling and doing my job." And they go, "Oh, okay. I was just curious." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then we talk a little bit and go from there.
Yeah. Can we talk about the telephone because and face to face? Because I know, look, my world is I build websites, I launch brands, I do digital campaigns. I have a ton of FaceTime, but the majority of my work is actually producing behind the scenes. A lot of your work is actually physically face to face with people. And I know that especially with younger customers, we're seeing things like help desks are fully automated now. You're not even speaking to someone, or FaceTime is going away. Can you talk about the value of FaceTime, the value of picking up the phone? Because I think that's something I'm a little nervous, but I feel like we're seeing that go away in certain industries.
We kind of about that? What's interesting, two things. So number one, I noticed I get a higher response when I text, right? People don't want to talk to me on the phone sometimes, but they're comfortable having a text conversation throughout the day, which is understandable because some people are at work and we just go through it with text, right? So I'd say, if you're building a business, maybe look at into, texting, cold texting, that is. We do cold calling, maybe look into cold texting.
Interesting.
But in addition to that, what's also interesting is, when I have conversations with people, I notice that there's just something that clicks when we have a nice conversation. And a new thing I started doing is I subscribe to a video service where I can send videos to their email. And so I record a video and send it to them and introduce myself. And so that's changing the way they view me. So most agents, when they're calling people, they talk to them on the phone, but now I'm probably the only agent that also sends a video associated with that. And I got a call back randomly on Friday night from somebody I did that with. And, she was kind of tough because, she is looking to sell her property. And she's like, I haven't given the address to anybody. And I go, okay, no worries. I'll go ahead and send you a video email, just to introduce myself.
Uh-huh.
And whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And then she just called me back like a few days later and she gave me the address. So their level of trust elevated because she saw who I am. I listen and I watch a lot of Tom Ferry, who's a very successful real estate coach, if not the most prominent real estate coach out there. And he says, video is the future, and in this digital age, you activate a lot more senses when people watch your videos, right? So
Yes.
I'm actually looking to up my video game and have a series of YouTube videos, and I do Facebook Lives now. So when I meet people in that face-to-face, right? So when I meet people face-to-face at open houses, I'll definitely take
They know who you are.
Right? And I introduce myself, hey, and I make it public. And what was interesting is I got a call back from somebody who came to one of my open houses, and she goes, oh, hey, did you know in your video, when the video starts, you see my car, rolling up and parking? And I said, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, I love the video because I wanted to see the living room again, and when you took the video, I got to see the living room again and envision it, right?
Wow.
So having the video and making it public on Facebook or your public page on Facebook, doing that, it can really help get that back, right? So get the call back or get that whatever clicks in that person's head, because they're going to Google you and they're going to look you up and they're going to find you. So if you have a service or a product, maybe take a video of how that service works, showcase it, or a product, showcasing that product. I say have some kind of video reference to when if you're promoting a brand or a product, have a reference to where people can look back to, right? So if you're calling a restaurant and you're trying to sell something, or you're calling people and trying to sell them a service, have a testimonial, but also have a video about how it helped. So, this helps restaurants do this, or, my service helps, young entrepreneurs, get X amount of money and sell X amount of brands or whatever it is, So, but just having some kind of video associated with it, it helps you become more authentic, more professional, but it also circles back to where there's a visual there and it clicks in people's, minds and brains, and it helps them get whatever product or service they're trying to sell out there.
Yeah, that's really smart. I think you hit on, certainly, I follow digital and tech trends very closely. You just hit on one of the reasons why I actually launched the show is because I'm getting the same download you are, is the future is video, and we are competing with basically this size of real estate when it comes to our content now. I think is something crazy like 89% of people will visit your website via mobile device. So that's their first introduction of you. We all know that the first thing we do is Google your name, and then we kind of social media stalk you. So, and then once people actually follow you, Facebook has made it challenging for us to even see your content. So everything I'm hearing is video is the future. Personally, I'm a fan of how easy, especially with technology like this, live video is possible now. We couldn't even do it a couple of years ago. And the opportunity I think it's giving entrepreneurs. I love your strategy though. So you're actually creating videos that you're pushing back to your clients so that they can actually get a feel for who you are. So anyone following along, if you're kind of strategizing at the moment, trying to think of new ways to engage, try video. And it sounds like less is more, right, Jerry? Like don't worry about it being polished, just get it on video.
Get it out there, just like it took me a little while. It took me like a week. I got this video service. It took me like a week to actually get the first one out there. I mean,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Same thing with, when I first got into real estate and I started cold calling. It took me a couple days before I actually made that first call, and I sat down for an hour, made a call. Now I'm on autopilot. I
Yeah.
can make calls all day,
Yeah.
and so I'm on autopilot now with my videos. So when I get a new lead, I'll send a video. Actually, let's see here. I have a little whiteboard right here, and like, well, this is something somebody had wrote down. Like, have a wonderful day on my whiteboard. But what I write on my whiteboard is I'll do an introduction, and I did this for one of my new pre-approved buyers. I said, congratulations on your pre-approval. Look forward to helping you and your family. And so, while I didn't meet their whole family, now they met me because I sent an introductory video to them. And so it's just that authenticity, right?
Yeah.
So a big part of our business in real estate is referrals. So right from the start, I want to show them I'm different than most agents. I actually care. And doing little things like that, taking a little extra time shows that I'm taking a little extra time and attention to just, greet them and be warm and welcoming. And so I know that's going to transfer over at the subconscious level when they realize that I'm going to take a little extra detail and attention to, them in the transaction, kind of looking a little bit more at the home, maybe either the value or the structure of the home or whatever it is. So little things like that can really add up. And just being disciplined and having a structure in place. So like I have a checklist of like things to do when I get a new buyer or seller. So like, call them, text them, and then send an introductory video. Email now is another thing. And then maybe email them, kind of like a, first time buyer kind of, expectation list, and same thing with, So I think another thing to add on to all this, because it's like a lot to kind of take in, is to have some kind of structure in place, right? And kind of center yourself. So that way you have a system, and the system's always going to evolve. But if you start now with just, I call 100 people a day, and I'll text them after and email them the day after, whatever it is, having that structure in place is really going to help.
Yeah, we could do a whole other show on structure and how important it is. I want to call out a comment. It looks like Lawrence is saying, and I don't know if it's to me or you, he says, I need to talk to you soon. So whether that's for you or me, let me just show it. Perhaps it is. Thanks for the shout out, Lawrence. So you can connect with Jerry through this broadcast. You should see a link right to his Facebook page, or if you can't find that through me, I will absolutely streamline you to it. But Lawrence, whether it's you or me, probably Jerry, it's absolutely, he's the embodiment of authenticity. Can we switch gears a little bit, because you're doing something really important, I think, with hurricane relief, that I just wanted to call out. Again, it's a shout out to your company culture, but also I'm a huge firm believer, and it's actually part of my brand organics mantra, to give back. So I'd love to hear in your own words, and I know you didn't do it just to give back. I know you're doing it because you want to help. But can you walk us through the amazing stuff you guys are doing for hurricane relief?
Yeah, so and every year Keller Williams has what we call Mega Camp, which is like a technology camp.
Mm-hmm.
So we brainstorm, we get new ideas and resources to use to build our business. Every year it's in Austin, and so this year they changed it to Mega Relief. And so instead of us going and taking up the convention center and displacing a lot of people who are homeless now, we to help them. And so a lot of some agents decided not to go, but I decided I was going to take that week off anyway. It's something I've always wanted to do, is help at that kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided, why not? I'm already going. Let's do it. So, as a company, we decided to help those affected by Hurricane Harvey. And so we did a variety of tasks, ranging from actually taking busloads of people and going out to the homes around Houston. And I went to Sealy, Texas, and we helped demuck homes, declutter them, get them ready for rehabilitation. And it was tough. Some of the stories we heard, you hear it on the news, you see it, but being there and seeing it and all that, it's a little tough. And I had a little depression a couple of days after that, I'll be honest. And they talked to us about, it's going to happen. And because reality hits that this happens and this can happen. But really finding that that company that is really, down to earth and grassroots and is willing to put boots on the floor to really help others. It's a rewarding feeling to know that I've aligned with a company like that. And so to be here, it just, it's awesome, And
Yeah.
so actively still helping agents who have been affected in our company. But each market center, so we're like a franchise, right? So each market center is adopting a family that isn't affiliated with Keller Williams or anything, just a family that was just hurt and impacted by the hurricanes and around Houston. And we're going to adopt more in Puerto Rico and other areas as well. And so we've adopted a family here, and we're actually actively raising money. Our goal is, I believe, $6,000, but I want to push to $8,000 to $10,000 back on their feet. So we're going to do that in the next month. So definitely, follow me on social media, Facebook, Jerry Morales, or Instagram, Jerry Curl Morales. I'll be posting links on there, looking to raise some money with 10, 20, whatever you guys can help with. I think it'll really help a lot. And it just, giving back. I wouldn't be here today if others didn't lend a helping hand. And, I was never going to have this, crazy past or anything like that. But, whether it's helping, guiding me along my path in life, going to college or whatever it is, I was helped at some point, and you were too, right? So to be in a position to help somebody else, get back on their feet when they've, been impacted by such a devastating natural disaster, it's a rewarding to actually truly have an influence on helping somebody. It's really rewarding. And, like I tell, all my mentees and everybody in the office, when you do that you're producing positive energy, and it's going to show in all of your actions. So when you give back, it really kind of, it helps you become more positive. You just admit that at this level, and it shows in your actions. And, if you get, hung up on 100 times, you're less likely to give up than if you didn't give back. Not to say that not giving back is bad, but your mental state even that much higher. So I think it just really radiates this positive energy that's really just, it's like a drug. It's contagious, and it's really awesome. So I think giving back, whatever way, shape, or form anybody can do it, is really, really cool. So even if it's just, Toys for Tots this year, or candy drives, or whatever it is, just giving back in one way, shape, or form. $20 goes a long way at Dollar Tree. So it's really, really good to do that.
That's really, really sound advice. So this time of year, I know there are a lot, and this is global, I feel, depending on the holidays, but I feel like there are a lot of organizations asking for donations, not always money, looking for an extra set of hands. Here in the United States, a lot of cities, a lot of companies decide to do their day of service around the Thanksgiving holidays. You see a lot of soup kitchen volunteering and stuff. But of course, where you are around the world, maybe now is the time to explore. If your company or you are interested in giving back and you haven't, maybe find something local, find a way to give back. Make yourself a stronger member of the community. And not that financial gain is the goal, but I know that studies have shown that companies that give back tend to maintain a stronger workforce. They experience lower, there's no attrition. I mean, people stay with the company. People say they leave managers, not companies. So sometimes we are inspired by the people we work with. So for whatever reason, I think giving back is probably a good idea. I'm donating my time this Saturday here in Los Angeles. I do a thing for public relations. I volunteer my time for 4 hours, and I'm going to sit down with nonprofits. And I don't know if I can give them any advice, but it's fun. I've been doing it for about 4 years. So if you haven't, think about giving back. It sounds like it'll make you stronger.
You can be, somebody, Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
For $5 or, $20 to a homeless guy, because, what's $20, right?
Right. $20 to you is, you could probably,
And a lot of people can go throw it away at a bar.
Yeah, it's buying coffee for 3 people, or you can, change someone's life. And that's not to be like, insensitive about,
your needs.
We are in an interesting economy that money is a challenge, but find your way of giving back. It sounds
exactly. Like you said, time. If you don't, the money part of it, the financial part of it,
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel uncomfortable is time,
Yeah.
2, 3 hours at a homeless shelter,
Yeah.
helping them eat or just, going to the elderly or the veterans and talking to them, whatever it is.
Yeah. I have to give you another shout out from Louis. I don't know if you know, probably a chum or a colleague, but I love these shout outs. I just had to show it. I love it. Jerry's the man and always has a plan. Like, I
Yes,
love
that's my best friend. So shout out to Luis and his wife now. They got married last Saturday, Olga.
it.
So
Oh,
shout out to them. Very lovely wedding, and just talking about positivity. Like that experience just created this like big old ripple in the universe of positive energy that I still feel today. So I think working is great, doing all that, coming back to what we're trying to do in life, and that's just enjoy our time and to show love and be loved. And I think that's just really awesome to be a part of all these experiences and everybody's journeys in life. So yeah, shout out to Luis, man. He's the man.
I love it. Again, it's all about us supporting each other. So we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. I think, Jerry, are there any parting words? I think I love what you just talked about in terms of inspiring action, and not to plug myself, but this is my show. If you are interested in how to inspire action, I have a free ebook you can download, and I'll put the link up here. But the question I get a lot right now is thinking beyond the financial gain, thinking beyond what they can do. And for the context, I get that question, and people are overwhelmed specifically when it comes to marketing themselves. So maybe we can bring it back to a little bit of marketing and what you're doing, maybe online. A big question I get a lot is, well, it's out of frustration. People are like, I feel like I'm wasting time on social media specifically, and I don't have the results to show for it. And so this conversation started about a year ago, and it came down to the fact that most people are pretty much just overwhelmed. And it came down to this conversation, like we were just having, about like, well, how can you inspire action? Like, think of your business in terms of inspiring action versus selling something. Mm-hmm. So I'll put a link up, but that you can download my free ebook for that. It's 5 steps. But Jerry, I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit in terms of just when it comes to maybe your brand or your persona, what you can speak to maybe from a digital standpoint, and the ripple effect maybe you're feeling from that.
Mm-hmm. So, to talk about inspiring action and like that, and with the digital age, there's it's all about enthusiasm, right? And it's all about, really connecting with people and, like I said, care, right? So if you really care about your product or service, it's going to show in your tone. It's going to show in your voice. If I did a Facebook Live and I'm just like, hey, this is Jerry doing an open house, come check it out. As opposed to, hey, come check out my house in Inglewood, really awesome 3-bed, 2-bath house going for $550,000, completely remodeled. Here's, the kitchen, yada, yada, yada. It just gets your mood going. It's, people want to, interact with you. It's all about mood and character. So think about that in the text when you're texting, in terms of not texting people, but in the text you use for social media as well, right?
Right.
So, the biggest problem I have is I always want to talk a lot, so I ramble. I do like these big old bulky texts.
Me
but sometimes
too.
I tone it down and just get to the point, like, home buyer seminar, come join us, free food, free drinks, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, because I host home buyer seminars in my office. But sometimes I want to ramble on. But the point is, make it fun, make it exciting, show the fun side of whatever product or service or whatever it is that you're showcasing or getting out there to the world, and have fun doing it. And I say going back and showing appreciation for whatever following you may have. I think that will help build a better relationship with your current followers. Yeah. And maybe it can help spread out to realize to others that, hey, I want to work with somebody, or I want somebody to build my brand that actually cares about me and appreciates me. Right. I'll tell my people all the time, I appreciate you. I would not be here where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you. And so, like, after the whole hurricane relief, I emailed all my past clients and all my current leads, and I thanked them, even the ones that I didn't close deals with. I thanked them for the experience and the time. And it didn't come from a place of, hey, look, I gave back and look at me. It was more of, I really, truly appreciate them getting me to that position in my life. Like for every single deal, I don't care if it was a lower deal or a bigger deal. Every
Right.
single one added up, and it made me go and be able to be in a position to where I can give back and help. And it made me who I am, right? And so I told them, you literally acted through me. I was acting on your behalf while I was out there, and I said that to the office as well. After, you guys, especially like my team leader Mark, making me a mentor, it helped me get out there. And so with that being said, just appreciation, going back to that, showing appreciation for whoever it is right now who's supporting you, whether it's maybe if you're literally just starting out and your family and friends are the only people supporting you, then show appreciation to them, and then just keep growing from there.
Gratitude.
Yes, gratitude goes far. And
learning that.
One little quick thing. So what's interesting is, when I work and I plant seeds in one area and I go plant seeds in the other, and I just keep planting. It's interesting how the universe works, because it just kind of comes back at some point, like out of nowhere. And so to be authentic is to always work, right? Always have a good work ethic, because if you really want your brand or business or whatever it is to get out there, then you're probably always going to be working. So you've heard the term ABC, only closers get coffee, always be closing. So coffee's for closers. I'm not a coffee guy, but I joke with people. I tell them, to always be closing, to be ABCing, you need to always be prospecting. So you need to be ABPing. So always be prospecting for new leads and new clients. So if you're really all about it, you need to always have that mindset and enjoy it. Don't make it where, I got to work today and I got to go knock on these doors. No, go have fun. Go have fun when you're calling people and knocking on doors, or going business to sell them a brand or product or service, and I think at the end of the day, show the value you can add. Like you mentioned metrics earlier, show them the metrics, show them people who have somebody help them build their brand, as opposed to somebody who doesn't have exponentially more success than those. So like, for instance, I have a coach now. It's something I never would have thought about getting. I said, I don't need a coach. I can do it on my own. I'm disciplined. But now that I have a coach, I am way more focused, way more disciplined. So if I was going to give like one little last piece of advice to anybody, I'd say, have somebody, and this is not really to promote you specifically, but like if you're really looking to get your business and brand out there, hire a company to help you build your brand. Treat it like a business. If you're looking to build a business, treat it like a business. If you don't have the money to do it, go Lyft, go Uber, go do something else that's going to help you get that little extra cash to be able to fund the business. And if you're not going to do it, well, guess what? Your competition is going to do it. Let's get real. Your competition is going to do it, and they're going to beat you. So unless you're willing to take the little extra steps and moves to really build a true, authentic business, and if you want to be a business, act like a business. And if you want to do that, then you're going to need to do what it takes to get there. So I would say do that, because I was working as a freelance writer part-time for a while, so I really got the steady real estate checks flowing in. So
side hustle, gig economy, whatever. I think now we live in a time where it's possible to at least try to really flex those muscles in terms of income. Just reaching back to what you just said, I build a lot of websites. I build a lot of websites for brands. I launch a lot of brands. I launch a lot of social media campaigns. And I love how you just put it. You were that honest, brutally honest guy. I love that you said he is what he says on the tin. He is brutally honest. I'd love to talk to you in that context. I'm sure you could tell me some things. But in terms of website, it's really interesting how, and you might experience this when you can tell if people are really serious about buying a home or selling a home or not. For me, I get the same interest when people are saying, well, I'm really passionate about my business, but then maybe you tell them, you show them the price tag of a website, and they're kind of like, oh, all of a sudden they're not sure. And it's sort of like, are you serious? Because your website is the first, the way I say it is, your website is people's first introduction to who you are. Yeah. They're going to meet your website oftentimes before they even meet you. And you might have the same conversation when it's talking turkey, like, are you really serious about buying or selling a home, or are you just exploring? Like, let's just have this conversation. And I think it's really valuable. For me, more often than not, the client will say, yes, I am serious about my business, and let's move forward and build a website. But it's really interesting. So I guess our last piece of advice here would be, if you if you are trying to close a deal with a customer, it sounds like, use Jerry's strategy. Just be brutally honest. Try to understand where they are in the customer journey. Are they serious or are they not? Show them gratitude, whether or not you work with them, because it sounds like it comes back to you. And it just sounds like focus on adding value first and foremost. Like this show, if you're thinking of trying to find ways of adding value, consider creating a show like this so I'm trying at least to show value, to be like, let me put people like Jerry in front of you so that you can learn from him. I like to talk, but I don't need to talk all the time. So it sounds like those 3 rules are kind of nice takeaways. Be honest, have those real, true, honest conversations, add value, and I loved your time one. It was like cherish your time as well. But it sounds like show gratitude. It comes back to
thing out there. So number one, I appreciate you having me on here. It means a lot. I don't just take my time.
Too. Yeah.
Out. Yeah, for anybody, but I like what you had to say. Call me right away and all that stuff, so we connected. So it's great to be on here and to express, what I did and in terms of the show. And I just hope a lot of people benefited from hearing what I had to say. And good luck out there.
Yeah, so everyone, if you are interested in following Jerry, you can certainly click through via the comments or directly in this broadcast. You can come to me if you want to know how to get to him, but by all means, I think, and whether or not you're buying or selling a home or even living in Los Angeles, Jerry is a great, I think, model for that entrepreneurial spirit. So by all means, it sounds like you are on, and I'll put it up one more time, you're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like if they come through any of those, they can find you and follow you. Any parting words, Jerry? What's coming up for you? Anything we should keep our eye out for?
A lot of things. So, and I need to get structured and really get these timelines down. But I'm going to make a team next year. I essentially have a team in terms of I have 11 mentees. I'm going to make a team. Also have a passion to pursue acting and screenwriting. I've taken acting classes. I've written screenplays. I'm always writing screenplays.
Great.
I'll be submitting to festivals next year and looking to make and produce my own show next year, or actually a short movie, not a show. I changed it. And actually just working with a buddy of mine who actually was animating for Rick and Morty. Him and I are going to be, he's making a fighting game. And that's something I enjoy. I enjoy video games, fighting games, and so him and I are going to really push to get that product out there next year. So, if anybody out there is into that kind of thing, and it's just expanding on the entrepreneurial spirit. What I've learned, all the experiences I've learned in real estate and business, I think can really transfer over to getting a product like that out there. And
right.
So, it all, and acting and screenwriting, that's a business too.
Yeah.
I think real estate really helped me build the base of what a business is. And, I'm going to have a lot of challenges in the future. But keep a lookout for a lot of great things to come. And I hope I can add value to everybody's life from the things I do. And I'd say at the end of the day, parting words are to just be true to yourself, because the truer you are to yourself, the more time you're going to save. And the quicker you are going to get to accomplishing all of your greatest and wildest dreams. So, get to it.
Well, I don't know if I can top that. So you guys give me a virtual round of applause. Thank you, Jerry, so much for joining us today. I'm going to have you come back for a regular slot. I could just sit here and listen to you talk all day. Again, follow Jerry you can click right through on Facebook and Twitter here. He's also on Instagram for that entrepreneurial spirit. Whether or not you're buying a home, it's going to be kind of amazing to watch your journey unfold. But if you're looking for someone who has guidance in terms of being an entrepreneur, competitive, authentic, or personal brand, which is kind of like what we talked about today, he's a great example of that. So we're going to sign off. It's nearly the top of the hour, but thank you, everyone. If you missed this broadcast and you're watching it at a later time and you have questions for me or Jerry, put them in the comments, or you can DM them to me, and I'll make sure that I'll send them your way, so that we want to honor that, because we know some people are watching this from around the world. So without further ado, I think that's it. I think we can sign off.
All right, well, take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.